What's going on, Falcon fan? This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. So today, guys, we're going to talk about the Falcons quarterback situation and the future of Michael Penix Jr. 2026 and beyond. We're just going to talk about it. Of course, the reason we're talking about this today because of the statement that Matty Ice made on during the press conference for Ian Cunningham. Right? We all heard the statement that he made. National media took it, and everybody put a spin on it. Said that Matt Ryan showed a lack of commitment to Michael Penix Jr. So we're going to talk about it today. And following day, Michael Penix put this long post out. We're going to talk about that post that Michael Penix put out, and then we're going to talk about my thoughts on what I think about Michael Penix. Right, looking at his stats, what people think about him right now at this time. My honest opinion about Michael Penix Jr. We talk about him. He only played 12 games, so we're gonna start there. So all the things that you think about, he's not a finished product in this NFL. He hasn't even really got started yet. And then you put coaching, at the forefront of that as well. You got to remember that, right? How he being developed from a coaching standpoint, right? Did they put him in the right position to be successful? We see quarterbacks now taking for an example, guys like Sam Darnold, who's currently in the Super Bowl. The way his first 3 years was, I mean, the guy's been in the league almost half a decade, right, or even more than that. And most people thought he was a bust. He was a number 3 overall pick in the NFL draft with the Jets. If anybody remember his time at the Jets, it was determined that he was actually hearing ghosts. What's going on, T Terry? So when you think about the things we saw, how quarterbacks being developed. Now it's another situation. Look at Justin Fields, right? People thought he was being undeveloped, but maybe he's just not the guy. I think he's been in the league 5 years. Maybe his time is up. Maybe he's not that guy. But it is circumstances where quarterbacks get in this league and the situation they get put in and it just don't work out for them. Do anybody remember David Carr, right? When he got drafted to the Houston Texans, his first year was so brutal, right? He never recovered from it, right? So things happen, man. It's just the way it is when you look at it like that. What's going on, Eddie? When you look at it from those standpoints, you got to figure out. You just got to take your time. This is a microwave NFL now. It's not like it used to be back in the days where they let quarterbacks sit back and develop and things like that. They just don't do that anymore. So now it's put in perspective where if you don't perform, like CJ Stroud did in his first year, or how Jaden McDaniels did in his first year, right? If you don't perform like that, you already considered, we don't know what we got at quarterback, right? And I think that's insane. I think it just don't make any sense to me. And I think anybody that's really a football, guy would understand that. You got to look at the circumstances, right? And this circumstance with Michael Penix is totally different. But we're going to get into that today, guys. But before we get into that, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so you know I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys like here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come hear me talk about. That's right, these Atlanta Falcons. Hold on just a minute. All right. Let's go. So what's going on, Georgia, Texas boy? What's up, Ricondo? On the Falcon family, new era is here. Rise up. Let's go. So, first of all, we're going to talk about Matt Ryan's statement, right? So, like I mentioned earlier, Matt Ryan pretty much was asked the question: if healthy, is Michael Penix to start, right? And his statement clearly said that, well, me or him or Ian is not the head coach. That's the decision of the head coach. So I'm not going to sit here and commit to saying that he's the starter. But if you listen to the rest of it, he said he liked Mike. He liked what's going on. He likes how he's attacking his rehab. Just real simple, right? Everybody took that to say that Matt Ryan is not committed to Michael Penix Jr., right? That's what everybody took it as. He's not committed to Michael Penix Jr. Well, since then, Matt Ryan has been on Radio Row at the Super Bowl, and he has repeatedly said that he was trying to define the different roles within the organization. And what he meant by that was he's not the head coach, right? It's the head coach job is to determine who's the starter. And that's what you want as a head coach. You don't want somebody telling you, you got to play this guy, you got to play that guy. That's the kind of situation this Kevin Stefanski just came from. And Matt Ryan don't want that to seem that way. Is he going to have input? Yes. He's going to they're going to, trust me, they're all going to come to a collective agreement that Michael Penix need to be the guy. That's probably what's going to end up happening. However, he had to make sure that he says that. So Ian Cunningham understands that you're the GM. I'm not coming in stepping on your toes and making you pick guys that you don't think you need to pick, and I don't agree with you. And I'm not going to tell the coach, you need to start this guy because that's what we want, no matter what you say. No, that's not the decision. That's not the decision. He also said that today, if you listen to some of the interviews, he said is that they have not really got into those conversations yet about even Kirk Cousins, right? That's what they're doing now. The next thing, the next step they was doing is actually looking at the roster, looking at their own roster, and then they got to make the decisions about Kirk Cousins, right? But you have to factor in the future as well. So I still stick to my statement I said about Kirk Cousins. He's going to get cut, guys. He's going to get cut. But they have to make a plan for this offseason, bringing in a quarterback, right? I think they're going to bring in a veteran quarterback. And believe it or not, I know you guys don't want to hear this. I believe the veteran quarterback is going to be Joe Flacco. Believe it. I really believe it probably is going to be Joe Flacco. Because he already knows Stefanski offense. Joe Flacco was on Radio Row today as well. He talked highly of Kevin Stefanski. He got a lot of respect for him. And I just think, bringing in somebody like that still can play, that can come in and be that veteran for Michael Penix. I'm not going to say that's the guy. Do I think that should be the guy? I don't know. I just want Michael Penix to be the guy. So whatever guy you bring in, somebody can win some games for you. And I think Joe Flacco can do that. He can hand the ball out to Bijan Robinson, right? He can make the throws that you need to make. He can make all the throws. He understands the offense that he needs to understand. So from that standpoint, yes, I do believe that he would be the guy that they could consider bringing in. So just going off Matt Ryan's statement, the national media ran with it. I mean, you have guys on First Take, NFL Today, NFL Live, right, talking about some Michael Penix is not the guy after 12 games. After 12 games, right? We have seen the way CJ Stroud played this year, especially in the playoffs. Is he the guy, right? Like you see what I'm saying? Like he took a step back from his first year to his last two seasons. He's not played the same, right? So it's question marks about him. But if you just go off that first 17 games, right? CJ Stroud said himself, he was the 5th best quarterback in the league during that time. So I'm just saying you have to give these guys time. And if you just sit back and know football and know 12 games, it's not enough. 12 games is not enough to decide whether a guy can play or not, especially when he only got 6 interceptions, right? 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's what he got. So it's not like he's a turnover machine. He take care of the ball. Yes, he's inconsistent. That's what he is. We all know this, but that's most rookie players are, not just quarterbacks, rookies in general, right? Every person don't come out and be flawless, right? Bijan Robinson has fumbled the ball a couple of times, right? I guarantee you he'll tell you that's some of the things that he wish he wouldn't have did. So this is the point I'm making, guys. Matt Ryan cleared the air. Hopefully, everybody kind of tracking back to what he said, what he really meant, and let's see, where the future holds for this quarterback. They haven't made those decisions yet, and the fact that people already thinking they have, it's not even they didn't even really had that discussion yet, guys. They probably had some sidebars and things like that, but probably having a real live discussion after looking at this roster about the quarterback, they have not had that discussion yet, and they're going to have it in the next couple of weeks. And by new league year, right after the combine, we'll definitely know where they're staying about with their quarterback position. We'll get more information on that. Um, yep, he was making his rounds today. Definitely 100%. Eddie says the key is these organizations because of money, inflation, revenue. It's the main reason these owners want to win regardless of the quarterback, even if they draft in the first round, right? I get it. I get it. They want to win now, but like I said, real football purists understand that you can't build Rome in a day. It just don't work like that. Um, I think they will find a way to get Mac Jones for 2027 or a 7 round pick. Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I don't see why they would think Mac Jones would answer. I don't even. He's not probably even on the radar, just in my opinion. Like so, um, but sure. All right. So guys, after Matt Ryan made his statement, Michael Penix Jr. came out and he had a post, and I ain't gonna lie, I kind of felt bad for the kid because you know he felt like all the things he went through, and honestly, I kind of root for people like this. The heart that he has. I mean, even his statement that he sent to all the teams just before he got drafted about the injuries he'd been through and how he came back. I mean, if anybody know Michael Penix's history in college football, the guy's been through a lot, and then to come back on the back end, have two outstanding seasons in the University of Washington, go to the college football playoff, on the back end of those injuries he had, two ACL injuries in the same knee, shoulders and stuff like that, and still come back and just perform you know, really well in those last two seasons in Washington. So, um, I think when you think about that, man, you can only just hope the guy, was able to turn around. So we're going to talk about his post real quick. This is his post, and let me blow it up for you guys actually can see it. All right, so Michael Penix Jr. went on Instagram and he had this post right here, right? And he said, as a man, you can carry a lot of pressure each and every day, pressure to provide for your family, pressure to succeed in everything you do in life. Pressure is letting everybody around you down. But one thing I have never did and never will do is fold in the face of it. Everything I everything I've been through to this point has made me into who I am today, and I wouldn't change a thing. I come from the mud, literally, and I get this from that mistake. I never had no handouts. My road to success was never easy, and I'm still just scratching the surface. All the pain, uncertainties, not knowing what will come next, never stopped me from pursuing my dreams. I know that God has a plan for me. No man can take that away. When he say no man can take that away, like I said, this is like he's really talking to the whole narrative that he's not the guy. Like you hear Stephen A. Smith, like he just completely like he's not the guy. I know that for a fact. Like he's like some kind of football, aficionado or something like that. So, um, just ridiculous stuff, man. Um, I never needed no sympathy. I wear my heart on my sleeves, proud. How can I ever be mad at me when all I ever try to do is feed my family? How can you tell me I can't do something and you don't know what it took for me to get here. I'm walking testimony, not too many people that can ever say they've been through what I've been through and still have the determination to keep going. Some people might think I'm crazy or say would have quit a long time ago. I know, think about it. Two ACL injuries, hurt shoulder, now you got another ACL. It seemed like man, you just seem like you'd be like, man, forget this stuff. But I will never be me, and I ain't that's not how I was raised. I'm forever going to stand 10 toes and show why my God is almighty and would never put me in situations that I can't get through. Whenever you're at whatever you're at right now in my story, stay there. So basically saying if you don't believe in him, don't jump ship when it get right because he coming. That's basically what he's saying. I never need motivation or a pat on the back. All I ever needed was the opportunity. As long as I got breath, I got to. The turtle race continues. So, man, the whole talk going around because it was a whole segment on ESPN. Was it yesterday? Probably, I think it was yesterday. Yes, a whole segment on ESPN yesterday, and where basically everybody's saying the Atlanta Falcons do not have a quarterback until they fix the quarterback. They're never gonna get it done. And the saddest part about that whole thing is Michael Penix like, I'm the damn quarterback. What you talking about, right? Like he's the first player ever to have an ACL injury, right? And I get it. So let's be real, guys. And this is where you take the whole feelings and things about it is. The fact of the matter is, Michael Penix have had like 5 injuries. So he is injury prone right now, right? But that don't mean he's going to forever be injury prone. It's just the fact that he has sustained a lot of injuries. And to this point, right, it seems like the Atlanta Falcons gambled on a guy that had that history of injuries, and now he's injured again. So the question is, it's not that is he's going to be the quarterback of the future. It's like he's going to have the availability to be the quarterback of the future, right? You don't want you don't end up wanting Michael Penix to be, I'm gonna use references like Anthony Davis, somebody that is one of the best basketball players that ever played the game, but can't stay on stay on the court. Or Zion Williamson, right? He was probably one of the most talked about prospects coming out of college since LeBron James, right? And the guy probably been out more than the games he played. So, you don't want to fall into those categories. You remember Greg Oden, right? Number one prospect had the foot injuries. Right? So it's some instances where you have all the talent in the world, but you can't stay healthy. Um, Brandon Roy, guys. I don't know if you guys remember Brandon Roy, and I'm going old school here now. Brandon Roy, how great Brandon Roy was for the Portland Trailblazers. Knees gave out on him, man. Um, Todd Gurley, career cut short because of his knees. So these it's instances that happen, right? So I'm not being a doom and gloom, but that's just the reality of it. So you have to make decisions and put that in perspective, first of all. But when you talk about this guy's only played 12 games, that's also the other side of it. That's the other side of it. He has not gave anybody any inclination that he can't be a starting quarterback in this league, be a franchise quarterback for any team. He has not given anybody that kind of you know sign already after 12 games. Where can anybody say that that the things that he have issue with, that it can't be fixed, that it can't be coached up, that you can't put him in the best situations, right? Like we have not seen any signs of that yet, right? Only thing that you probably can say that's really hurt Michael Penix so far is the two unintentional groundings that he had, right? Where he started to get pressure, and then he rushing, try to get out of the pocket, don't get out the tackle box, and they intentional ground, right? Like, and then of course every quarterback gonna have missed throws. I just don't understand like the whole narrative going around that Michael Penix Jr. is not talented enough to be a quarterback in this league. So what's going on, Piston fan forever? Um, Eric Rogers said folks always hate on the Falcons and its players. Yeah, man, it's crazy. He said I'm rooting for this kid. Me too, man. I honestly I just want him to have one healthy season where he can prove everybody wrong. That's what I want. I think if he get a healthy season, he's going to be able to do. Matt Ryan was just trying to motivate Michael Penix Jr., teach him to overlook all the negative talk from everyone who know better than Matt Ryan. Fans wanted Matt out as a quarterback when he was playing. Man, they wanted Matt Ryan out the first time he got here. Appreciate the $2, Eric, man. Um, like I keep saying, I hope they give this man a fair opportunity with the new staff, regardless of other quarterbacks on the roster. That's all he asked for. If you listen to his post, he just want opportunity, and I think he's going to get opportunity. I really do. All right. Degenerative disease in joints of the body is a hell of a career killer. Just saying, rumors are there. Yeah, and then like I said, if that's what this issue is, right? It's not going to be not going to last long. But honestly, if that's the case, and if the doctor should have caught that in the Atlanta Falcons, yes, they did make a mistake. If he already was had a degenerative disease and stuff like that, and they picked him 8th overall, that's a mistake. In the right system, right coaches. Yes, I think this coaching staff is really going to be able to guide him in the right direction. They put through hard situations to make you great, and what MPG is going through at this time, he will be great. Put your funds on it. Okay. See, I like optimism, man. I really do. I really do. All right, so just look at some of the things that people got out about Michael Penix right now. And one of the things that people saying about Michael Penix is that he struggles and with pressure, right? So against the 49ers, this is one of the things, is one game, right? But it's what they said against 49ers. He demonstrated the ability to deliver in critical velocity throws in key situations such as third downs and fourth down. But in that particular game against the Niners, he was like 0 for 9. It was bad. And to me, that's coaching. Like I said, we was terrible on third down all year. And I don't think that was just quarterback, because even when Kirk Cousins got there, we was even worse on third down. Look it up if you don't believe me. The third down struggles continued when a veteran guy was in there for 14 seasons, got in the game. The Falcons still sucked on third down. So it just went Michael Penix. But in particular in this game, they talked about being pressure, right? Some key performance metrics that you get from Michael Penix. Completed 9 passes under pressure, taking 2 sacks, right? You see that? Mixed result reports indicate struggles against the blitz. That's the knock on him right now. So when he's getting blitz, he has struggles. That's basically what they're saying. With some analysis calling him a panicky in those situations. So basically they saying, go back to what I talked about Sam Darnold, right? Seeing ghosts, start panicking, start looking down at the rush instead of looking down the field to complete your passes, right? Those are kind of things, But like I said, guys, blitzes, when you being blitzed, the coach got to help you, and they got to understand you have to put in hot routes and stuff, because you got to get rid of the ball fast on blitzes. Go back and watch those games and to see what any hot routes designed for Michael Penix to get rid of the ball fast. No, he's sitting down trying to find a develop and play route down the field instead of having an outlet pass the blitz, to get out, because when they blitz, you don't have time, right? Everybody knows in blitz, it's probably extra free man coming somewhere. So that's why you put in hot routes and things like that. I don't think they had any of those. Go back and look at some of the games. It's just the truth, right? In clutch moments, though, despite inconsistency, he has shown growth, delivering crucial, high velocity throws in critical moments. Anybody recall the Washington Commanders games in 2024 when he hit Michael Kyle Pitts for a touchdown on fourth down at the 13-yard line? So those clutch moments, he has the gene. He has that clutch gene. You can see it. He have had moments of like that, right? It was a play in against Indianapolis this year. Third down, had to have it. He hit Kyle Pitts again, right? He looked off the safety, came back, timing route to Kyle Pitts in the middle of the field. He has shown these plays. This is nothing that he hadn't put on tape. He has put plays on tape where you see the 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 experience that he can do. He put it on tape, right? You see it. So I'm just trying to figure out why anybody else can't see it. And what I get from it is people don't watch all Michael Penix Jr. games, right? It's people that watch, the games that they see on TV, and they see the bad moments and things like that, and they think that's who he always, that's who he always is. That's not the case. In a lot of cases, Michael Penix is playing really good, playing okay football, right? Okay football. That's what he's doing. That's what we've been seeing. All right. Also, you look here, some other things about Michael Penix. Passing ability processes a strong arm capable of making all the throws on the field with a quick release. He excels at pushing the ball down the field, navigating the pocket pressure. This is what we've seen. We have seen this, right? Production. Finished his final college year with 4,900 yards, 36 touchdowns. His 2025 performance, guys. He threw, like I said, 9 touchdowns. He reached almost 2,000 yards, but struggled with turnovers. He did not. He had 3 turnovers. See, this right here is not accurate. And then it said a quarterback rating of 58%, right? So this is the accuracy issues. He have shown trouble accuracy. He got to fix that. He's not a perfect guy. Style, primarily a pocket passer with limited rushing usages, right? So they didn't put him in where he can be a rusher, right? They did not use him that way. Use him in the pocket. We now know they use him in pistol probably 90% of the time. And what's so interesting about that, when Kirk Cousins got a game, they put Kirk Cousins under center almost 90% of the time, which is don't make no sense at all. Um, Accuracy evaluated as high volume thrower with good immediate to deep accuracy. So he has the accuracy, right? But he's off target sometimes, right? We got an arm like that. You don't get your feet set, and I think that's why a good quarterback coach can definitely help him, right? Because most of the time when you have accuracy issues, it's more of you're not having your feet right? Especially when you're throwing across your body or trying to layer throws and things like that. If your feet ain't set correctly, it's going to throw off the pass, right? It's going to be inaccurate. It is some throws that Michael Penix got to make. And we've seen some of those throws this year that he did not make some of those throws. So those are some of the things that when you're looking at what you want to see from Michael Penix Jr., that he needs to improve in. But, bringing in the quarterback coach, Alex Pelt, I think that's going to help him, right? Got to work on your footwork. Sometimes you don't know if a young player ever been developed, 100% correctly, because a lot of these young players just go off raw talent, right? Look at a guy like Michael Vick, the raw talent that he possesses. Over his career, it was hard to get him out of some of his things that he used to do. So the same thing can be said about Michael Penix. Michael Penix, he's a natural thrower of the ball. His guard get the talent. It is what it is. So sometimes you got to kind of teach those guys to stop doing that stuff. Michael Penix throws a lot with it just his arm, and don't utilize, the whole hip, and things like that. If you go back and everybody, kind of joke about it, but when Dak Prescott does this little warming up when he doing the thing like this, that's what you want to do. You want to get your hip into the throw because you make the throw more accurate. You utilize your feet. Sometimes Michael Penix, if you watch some of his throws, he's throwing all arms, and that just shows you how strong his arm is. But that sometimes the ball sails, it doesn't go where you want it to go. But when he step up in the pocket and he utilized, his mechanics correctly, those are the kind of throws you see with really precision. That throw he threw to Kyle Pitts in that Commanders game to tie the game, to send the game in overtime, that was a perfect throw. He stepped up in the pocket. He knew where he was going to go with the ball, and that was a timing throw as well. He didn't wait till Kyle Pitts became open. He threw it to a spot where Kyle Pitts is going to be, and that's the anticipation that he shows. Man, you can't teach that. He already has the anticipation. He already had that. He already know how to read defenses to a point. He kind of struggles in cover two, especially his first year. When you go back and look at 2024, those 3 games he quarterback in, cover two kind of ate him up just a little bit. He got a little bit better this year in that, but that comes with time. You hear Patrick Mahomes talking about, he didn't know how to read defense until his second year, right? And once he learned how to read defense, it was a wrap. Michael Vick said he he just went out and played football. Just imagine Michael Vick, took the game serious when he was in Atlanta, man. Man, he would have been so good. But and I mean, he said it himself. He took his playbook and threw it in the back, right? Because he just knew he was going to just do what he do. And those some of the things. But when I look at Michael Penix Jr., I think he has all the abilities, all the traits to be a good quarterback, right? My only concern, and what should be the Falcons' concern as well, is the health, right? They say the best ability is availability, and if Michael Penix is not available, to to develop the way he need to, the Falcons have to go in a different direction. I think they're going to give him an opportunity, and I tell you one reason why they're going to get an opportunity, because it's in their best interest for the team moving forward for Michael Penix to be the guy. And the reason for that is because he's the number 8 overall pick. He's on a rookie contract. And if he can be the guy for you, imagine how they can build this team around Michael Penix Jr. before they have to pay him, right? 3 more seasons. They can build this team. So if he can actually come in and show that he can be the franchise quarterback, if he can show that, oh man, the next 2 seasons will be perfect for the Atlanta Falcons, because all they have to do, right, is build around Michael Penix Jr. the next 2 seasons, and then get to the 5th year, because they'll probably just pick up his 5th year option, get to the 5th year, go ahead and sign him to a longer-term deal. But by that time, you don't put the pieces in place. So Michael Penix Jr. can, take this team to a whole different level. But in the meantime, they can utilize that contract, because if Atlanta Falcons start doing all these investments in different quarterbacks and things like that, it takes away from being able to put resources in other places. So Atlanta Falcons, it's their best interest for Michael Penix Jr. to be the guy. That's why I think they definitely want to give him the best opportunity to be the guy. But it's up to, he got to be healthy though. That's what it boils down to, because you can't rely on somebody and say we're gonna let you be the guy, but we don't know when he's gonna be back on the field. Right? Everything Matt Ryan said today was that he's on schedule, and then the plan is for him to be ready, by training camp and things like that. But you don't know, you ever know. So, to be smart, they're gonna have to make decisions and put themselves in place because they want to be successful this year as well. So that's one of the things you got to look at. So, but Michael Penix Jr. Right, the worst thing happened to Michael Penix Jr. in his career was not being able to finish this season out. That was devastating, right? It was devastating for Raheem Morris, Terry Fontenot, right? Because those guys put all their stock into Michael Penix Jr. and then it crumbled when he went down. Just being honest with you, it did because at least we could have got a full season of Michael Penix Jr. And you can see was he could you see was he getting better and better week after week after week. The problem is you didn't get an opportunity to see that. Right, he only played 9 games this year. That was not enough. Those next 8 games would have been really really big for Michael Penix Jr. if he had opportunity to play those 8 games. Also, the Atlanta Falcons would have opportunity to see Michael Penix Jr. actually play a 20 games. If you have a 20 game sample size now, you get a better idea of what this young man could be. Right, but now whole new coaching staff. I think is a better coaching staff to put him in position to be successful 100%. But it's going to be on him, right? Because if he was healthy, I think they might probably already go ahead and stamp him the guy. But since he's not healthy, they have to make decisions for the team, right? And the team is you have to bring in somebody else, right? But I don't think they want to put that much investment into the quarterback position. So they're hoping and they're just wishing and praying that he's the guy. Because if he's the guy, man, that opens up so many more avenues, and the strategy to building this team out, in different ways would be perfect for them, right? Because we always talk about if you don't got a quarterback, you really ain't got nothing. So the quarterback is the most important. But if they could determine that Michael Penix Jr. is that guy, right, they can start building this team out another way. But right now, at this point in time, they can't do that. Right? He's not healthy. He needs to get himself back on the field. Right? Listen to your doctors. Rehab. We know he's you know looking at that post that I put up. The guy's he's motivated. He's determined, and I like what he said. If you ain't with me now, don't get on my side. Don't jump on board when I start rolling. And I agree with him 100%. All right, don't switch it up once I start doing what I do. Right, that's basically what he's saying. So, um, man, this quarterback situation is going to be really really interesting for the Atlanta Falcons. He says, bro, Kalen DeBoer offense was lights out. O line was stout and kept him clean. Had a powerful running back and 6 receiver tight ends who all got drafted. Yeah, he had talent around him, but I feel like he got talent around him now. So it's not to that level, right? And of course, we're talking collegiate football, fights the pros, but I think he got talent around him now to put him in a position. Now that Stefanski is about a biscuit away from having a complete system that MP was the best in, but will not be a passing all the time like college. It don't need to be, right? They got Bijan Robinson. Um, and another thing we talk about Matt Ryan, he stated in the press conference that he had with Stephen Stefanski is that a young quarterback's best friend is the running game, right? And then the philosophy that these guys already set, the vision that they set is built through the trenches. So if they true to that vision, Michael Penix Jr. is going to be in good shape, right? Because they're not going to be asking him to do Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes type things, right? They want him to be able to what a lot of people don't like to hear is manage the game, and that's the kind of quarterback play they're going to need. That's why, you know, I lean heavily on they might bring in Joe Flacco because of that reason, right? Somebody that they know can manage the game, that know that's not going to make a lot of mistakes. Is going to be able to run the offense that they want to run until Michael Penix get right. That's why I'm thinking that Michael Penix is going to be the guy, but I do believe that they're going to bring in a quarterback that they can trust. They're going to be able to run their offense. It says he passed 80% of the time in college. He sure did. He passed a lot in college. And you don't blame him because, like you said, those receivers he had, man, that tight end he had. I mean, he had so many weapons on in college. So passing the ball was what they needed to do. What's up, Keen Atlanta supporter? Remember, he got to prove himself next season because his fifth year has to be picked up prior to his fourth season on right. So I agree with that. He do have to prove himself. Next year is going to be his is where all the everything lies 100%, right? Hopefully he get a full season. He get a full season, I think he gonna have opportunity to be really good. I truly believe Penix is him. I do too, man. I do too. Only thing I'm thinking about, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie. It when he got hurt, I didn't even really care about the season no more because my whole idea of this season. I mean, everybody wanted the playoffs, but my whole idea of this season was to see what Michael Penix the guy. So the fact that he only played in 9 games, it kind of just like ruined the mood for me. I didn't care about what we did the rest of the season, especially when we lost to Seattle and I knew we was out the playoffs. I was like, I don't really care no more because we already know what Kirk Cousins do, right? Um, and he didn't light up nothing. He wasn't spectacular. It was all Bijan. Um, so, but man, I was out when that happened. But yeah, I pray Michael Penix stay healthy all season without. Yes, man, that's what we all hope. We hope he stays. Reason being, the fans and the organization will be biting their teeth if that happens. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, if he stays healthy, oh man, all those guys they got on they staff that just tip your head off to Kevin Stefanski's staff, man. I don't know how good this guy's gonna find out, but he got it's 4 offensive coordinators on the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball, right? 4. The head coach, the offensive coordinator, the passing game coordinator, and the quarterback coach. All those guys have called plays in the NFL, right? And if they can't come up with a game plan and a development plan for Michael Penix Jr. to put him in the best situation possible, that would be a damn shame. So I like the fact that they got an offensive minded head coach. To be able to get this offense to where it needs to be. Stefanski going to play Gabriel and say Penix isn't ready. They're not getting Gabriel. I've been seeing that out there too. Like they should just go ahead and trade for Gabriel. That's funny. Gabriel is going to stay with the Cleveland Browns. I don't think he's going to get traded. And why would Kevin Stefanski? I can tell you this much, and I'm gonna just say this: it's Kevin Stefanski's trade for uh, Gabriel, and man, I lose everything I would say good, since he's been hired about him because I'm like, what the hell? So don't even put that out there in ether. Let that be. Do not put that out there, guys. Do not put that out there. Don't put that out there. Another comment: is there an offensive line coach better than Callahan? Shit, if it is, I don't know who he is. If it is, I don't know, man. I, I anticipate that the offensive line getting switched up a little bit. All right, the Atlanta Falcons was eighth in rushing, so it's not like they sucked. They was eighth in rushing this season, so I mean, the Atlanta Falcons got a really good offensive line already, but you know their zone, just mostly zone, blocking offensive line, and they're gonna switch it up. They're gonna run a little bit more gap, and I think when you run a little bit more gap, you want a little bit more beef, particularly at center, right? So that's why I believe you might see an upgrade at center. You just might. Um, I mean, and to say that if you see an upgrade, that's really good because I thought Nuzul did a really good job this year, right? He did the best. Um, you know, being able to get up to those second levels and running that zone, you can see that. But running the gap, which interesting enough, is what Bijan Robinson ran at University of Texas. Is he ran more gap than zone in college. So being able to blend both of those running styles, the zone and the gap. Now it's gonna be a lot of zone still because that's the Gary Kubiak coaching tree where they run their zone, that West Coast offense, really big on the zone, which the Atlanta Falcons offensive line is pretty much already mastered at that. But being able to put that blend of the gap in, I think is going to be huge. And I think what we're hearing about Tommy Reese is that his ability to make the run and the pass look similar, right? And when you're able to do that, right, being able to make your plays look similar, right? When you start to do those play action plays and things like that, that's how you get those layered throws right behind the linebacker, you know, those seam routes right up the middle, those posts, right? Those routes because you have those linebackers, those safeties creeping up to stop the run, which we know that they want to do that because of Bijan Robinson. So um, the ability to run gap and zone is going to be really huge. And like I said, having Bill Callahan here, from a teaching these guys and coaching these guys from a technical standpoint, it's going to be good where they're already really good themselves. So um, it's going to be huge. We said Stefanski and Callahan loves to man up on their offensive line schemes, including trap blocking a lot. Right, that's what, like I said, running that gap. So they're gonna be able to do that. I can't wait to see what happens. So, like I said, I know we like our offensive line. Bringing in competition, it will never hurt anything. And that's what the Atlanta Falcons is going to have to do. Right? Listen to Matt Ryan talk today. He talked about depth. You know, adding more depth to this team. You got pieces here that they definitely gonna have to talk about some contracts. He said that Ian and Kevin stayed back, in Flowery Branch, and they was looking at the roster, and his plan was to get with them later on this afternoon to talk about some things because they got a lot to talk about. Because they're behind a lot of other teams. The teams that already had their general in place, already had their coach in place, right? They're behind. Well, if the team already had a general manager in place, that even helped more than where the Falcons were. The Falcons didn't have either, right? So the Falcons are behind. They got to start talking about the combine, which is 2 weeks away, right? The Super Bowl is Sunday, and then 2 weeks after that, it's the scouting combine right there. So these next 2 weeks is going to be really, really busy for Ian Cunningham and the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff to be able to get with the scouts and kind of get an idea of, some of the prospects that they're going to be looking at. Right. Remember, the Atlanta Falcons only got 5 picks, so it's going to be huge to be able to, to pick the right guys to be able to add to this roster. So they, like I said, they're going to be really busy. Start Monday, but they're not busy right now. So the main reason I wanted to come on here today was to talk about the quarterback situation. I want to kind of give my thoughts on the whole, you know, the whole. It just got blown out of proportion, the narrative around the non-committal of Michael Penix Jr. And that's not what Matt Ryan said. He never said he wasn't committed to him. But at the same time, the Atlanta Falcons need to do what's good for the team. And what I mean by that is understanding Michael Penix's situation, understanding his history of being injured, and make sure they set the team up for success for 2026 and moving forward. And they have to consider that. But I do believe that they will give Michael Penix Jr. every opportunity to be the starter quarterback for this team. They're going to develop him. I do believe that. I believe that, and they're going to put him in the best situations. I think one of the main things that's going to be interesting to see, right? Michael Penix said it's not a big deal to him. He had no problem with it. But that's him playing up on the center, right? The last time we really seen Michael Penix play a lot up on the center was he with the University of Indiana, right? Before he transferred to the University of Washington, right? The most we've seen him play under center was during that time. So he has not played a lot of football up on the center in almost 4 seasons. So that's going to be interesting to see. I think that is a big part of what Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees like to do. And Michael Penix said he does not have a problem with that. He said he was coached to do what he was told to do. That's why we did a lot in pistol, vice, running up on the center. Right? And it just personally, it's just hard for me to believe that. I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know why, because when Kirk Cousins got in the game, they did a lot up on the center, where Zach Robinson said it's advantageous to play out a pistol because it opens up a lot of more. So if that's the case, why you decide to put Kirk Cousins on the center? So just don't make no sense. I don't know who was lying, what's the deal, but we're gonna find out, because this coaching staff is not gonna have Michael Penix in shotgun 90% of the time. Just not going to be the case. He will be in shotgun sometimes, but a lot of times he's going to start up on the center, right? Because I think that's just it to me, it really helps the play action more than anything, right? I do believe it helps the play action more than anything, being able to play up on the center. Matt Ryan said it actually helps young quarterback learn their drops and the clock in their head, right? Because he talked about coming up on the center, dropping back. You got a 3-step, 5-step, 7-step drop, right? And when you're coming back, and usually the time you got that 3-step drop, right? That's the quick hitches, the slants and stuff like that. 1, 2, 3, balls out, right? 5-step drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Scan, scan, scan. Ball out. Right. It's helped with the time of your clock. When you're already in the shotgun or you're already in the pivot, you don't have that time of your clock, right? Because you get the ball. Now you stand there looking. So I believe that put him up on the center will help him develop even more than what we already seen. So it's going to be huge. But the main thing is the main thing. Michael Penix Jr. needs to get healthy. Once he get healthy, all bets are off. We'll see what the Atlanta Falcons can do. And he says if it's less than 4th and 1, yeah, he needs to be up on the center. If they want to just run the ball down their throat, he needs to be up on the center more than the 4th and 1. I know that's not what you're saying though. I want to Penix Jr. more than ever now. I know, right? Because of that statement. Hey, before we get up out of here, guys, I'm gonna put it up one more time. I'm not gonna read it again, um, but I just want you guys to look over real quick. And also, you're right, Raquan Stefanski loves to have him up on the center because of his running game attacks. Yes, he does. Like I said, and then you can make out. Think about it. You make every play look alike when you're doing it that way, right? You can run so much stuff off up on the center, so it's gonna be huge. But here you go, guys. One more time. Look at our quarterback pour his heart out to the masses about you know where he at, where his mindset at, right? And the biggest thing right here it says, wherever you at right now in my story, stay there. Wherever you at right now in my story, stay there. That's what he basically saying, right? If you don't think I'm what I'm going to be, don't jump ship because that's what they love to do. They love to do that, man. I can tell you, especially national media. You can go back and look at everything that the national media said about Shadur Sanders before the draft. Go back and look at everything they said before the draft. Dan Orlovsky, Colin Cowherd, all those guys don't know shit about football. Dan Orlovsky used to be a quarterback, completely lost, man. He can dissect the play, but didn't have no skill set himself to do anything. But go back and watch what they said about Shadur Sanders before the draft, and then go watch what they said about Shadur Sanders after he got dropped to the fifth round. Like, how can your take be so different than what you thought about him before he got drafted, before he even threw a pass in NFL? Your thought process had changed from what you said before the draft, but when he went fifth round, you had a completely different thought process about his game. And I ain't talking about the outfield stuff and his attitude. I'm talking about what they said about his game. That's what I'm talking about. So the narratives that these talking heads try to create is ridiculous, and nobody should even listen to them. Right? That's why podcasters like myself and all the other Falcon faithful out there exist, because we watched these teams more. We care about these players, these teams more than the regular national media, right? We watch every game, we watch every snap, we go to the training camps, right? We listen to all the interviews. We know these teams, and we can get better insight, right? No, we're not there in the locker rooms. We're not at every meeting and everything like that. But we put know and see the work that these guys put in week in and week out, and we know what really happened instead of just watching highlights and then I try to dissect the guys um whole you know career that just like that. That's what they do because and all fairness to them, they got to watch a lot of games, right? So they pretty sure they don't watch all the games. They watch highlights and then they come in and they have try to have a talking point, and they be wrong, completely wrong most of the time, right? And then it's like a watch is right twice a day, right? So yeah, they be right sometimes. It's luck, because not they know what they're talking about. But it just amazes me that how so many people are out on this young kid, and he only played 12 games his whole career. 12. And you don't have to go back into the history book and look at some of these great quarterbacks where they was at the 12 games. And if somebody would have came out and said that they're inconsistent, they don't know how to manage the blitz, this, and that about their careers after their 12th game, right? Where would they be today, right? So it just to me it don't make any sense. It's like a lot of things in this country don't make sense right now, right? Where when stuff is in black and white and people want to live in the gray and have like they got blurred mindset about shit, right? That's what it seems like what it is. But some stuff is black and white. And the black and white is the fact is the kid only played 12 games, and nobody that ever, coach football at any level or watch football can determine if a guy can play after 12 games. That don't make any sense, especially when they have had success in some of those games. It's not like he had 12 bad games and like, okay, yeah, the 12 game sample size that we've seen, they all was bad. That's not the case. He has had brilliant games in those 12 games. This year, right? You go to the Washington Commanders game. He had a great game, right? I thought his first game of the season against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was really good, right? Like the Indianapolis game, I thought was good. The New England game, I thought was good. He has had some really good games this season, but for people to be already out on the kid, and like I said, if it's about the injuries, that's a whole different story. That's another conversation because I'm with you on that conversation. You got to stay healthy, but when you're talking about being able to be a NFL quarterback in this league, it's no way that these coaching staff that's supposed to be competent, that's coming in, is going to look at 12 games and be like, he ain't my guy. There's no way they can determine that. So they got to get a guy a chance, and I hope they do. And that's where I'm going to leave it at. So there you have it, guys. That's my stance on the quarterback. Yes, the Atlanta Falcons will be bringing another quarterback this year. We don't know, right? Could bring in a young quarterback. We just don't know. We'll have to find out. We don't know their mindset moving forward, but I do believe that they will give Michael Penix Jr. a chance, and that's really all that he can ask for. There you have it. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.